right when I think I have my YouTube schedule down, Ufotable and Aniplex pulls this. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel and to another video. Today is going to be a quick video. I'm going to very briefly just discuss the Demon Slayer news that happened yesterday. It's not a ton. There's going to be a lot more to talk about once this news that was announced actually happens, but you know me, I will take any excuse to talk about Demon Slayer on this channel, so we're gonna do that today. But before we do, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment, your thoughts, all that fun stuff. So you might be asking, Hannah, what was the news? Well, we have a official Infinity Castle trailer coming June 28th. Now, some people are saying they're not sure this is actually what it read as. However, I did confirm with quite a few people and quite a few Japanese people that yes, in fact, this is what's happening, because our translation was very strange. I'll put it right here. For some reason, it translated in past tense, and I can tell it's not in past tense, so I don't know why it translated as past tense. But it was a very strange sentence, so a lot of people actually missed this when they made the announcement because it's at the very bottom of the tweet when they're just talking about special releases of the rest of what's come out before Infinity Castle hits theaters in Japan in about a month here now. But can confirm, yes, there is going to be a world release of the official Infinity Castle trailer coming out on June 28th. It's either going to be right before or right after. I think they're showing Mugen Train again on the 28th. At 7 p.m. Japan time. That is 3 a.m. my time. So what I plan to do for you all is I will wake up, the trailer should be out, I'm gonna throw some makeup on, and I'm going to record the video about it, get it edited. I have a couple things to do that day, but I'm gonna try and literally just get it edited and posted before I do any of that stuff. So that's my plan. Hopefully I'll stick with that, but that's what's going on. A couple things to keep in mind with this trailer. Number one, I don't think they're really gonna be announcing any news because we have all of the information that is necessary. We already know when it's releasing in Japan. We know when it's releasing around the world. We already know that it's gonna be a movie trilogy. So I don't really know exactly if there's gonna be any major announcements. The only thing I could possibly think this might have is if there's gonna be any premieres, if they're gonna do a world tour for this movie. I wouldn't be surprised if they're gonna do a world tour. This would probably be a good time for them to announce it. This is me just kind of hoping that there's a premiere right before it comes out. I would love to attend it, but that's neither here nor there. That's really the only thing I can think of that they would announce. Some people are asking if I think they're going to announce like a theme song, like an OP or an ED. No, I don't think there's going to be one. If I'm remembering correctly, now I will remind everyone when it came to Mugen Train, when it was building up for that movie release, I was not in the fandom yet. However, from what I can tell, there was no announcement of any songs. And with the movie, it didn't have an opening credits. They just had Lisa do the ending credits of Homura. So I feel like this is gonna go the same way. It will more than likely not have any type of opening. There will probably be a special artist that comes in and does the ending credits song, and that's what I'm kind of expecting. And I don't think they're gonna announce that during this trailer, but they are doing things slightly different. They're keeping things interesting, so you never know. I think the main thing that we can expect is they are going to show some more content from the movie. I would not get my hopes up. I don't think they're gonna be that heavy content-wise. My feeling is that they are wanting to keep which battles are going to be included in this first movie under wraps until this movie comes out. That's kind of how I'm feeling about how the promotion has gone so far. I don't feel like they want to reveal a ton of what's actually gonna be in this movie. We obviously know that Shinobu versus Doma is gonna be in it and Zenitsu versus Kaigaku is going to be in it, but we don't know if there's gonna be anything else, if they're just going to extend those battles and that will be the first movie. But we know those are gonna be in it. If those aren't in it, that will blow everyone's minds. Could they reveal what battles are gonna be in this movie in the trailer? Yes, they absolutely could, but I'm not expecting it. But I do think it's going to be a full-blown trailer. I do not think it is just going to be what we got in the movie theaters after Mugen Train. If you saw it, I did make a video on that because I still to this day say the thing that we got in theaters felt like a sneak peek of the trailer, not a sneak peek of the movie, because right when that trailer ended, it felt like it was about to do its big like climax of the trailer. It could just be that. They could just be showing that one 45-second long trailer to the entire world. Who knows? We will see. Your guess is as good as mine. But that is what's going on. There is going to be a trailer released on the 28th. I, of course, will post about it once it is out. I will keep an eye on things and I will let you know. I'll break it all down. The next thing I really wanted to brief on is a leak. So if you do not want to know anything about timeline for when these movies are coming out, how long it's going to be, or if Infinity Castle is really going to be the entire end and they're going to put Sunrise Countdown in this trilogy, I would say you can turn off the video now. I'm just going to be discussing that from here on out. Okay, so the leak is that the first Infinity Castle movie is expected to have a runtime of 2 hours and 35 minutes, and that the first movie's coming out in 2025, second one will come out in 2027, and third one will come out in 2029. No more seasons. Hashira Training Arc is the final season of the Demon Slayer anime. Okay, so a couple things. First things first, again, this is just a leak. Take this with a grain of salt. This person is a reputable leaker. They have posted correct leaks in the past. So there is, if you want to believe it, there's warranted belief there. I do have a couple thoughts with this. Number one is, if the first movie is in fact 2 hours and 35 minutes, that is the only way I can really see it actually working where they squeeze the Sunrise Countdown into this trilogy, because this is pretty much saying that there isn't going to be anything after this trilogy, and there has been a lot of back and forth on whether Sunrise Countdown is going to be in this trilogy. A lot of people keep trying to say that the Sunrise Countdown is a fan-made arc. I have no evidence to support that theory. There's literally, I've looked it up, everything that I can see says that Sunrise Countdown is an official arc, but again, I was not in the fandom when that was happening, so I cannot speak to if like there was a whole like just large amount of the fandom that was like, this is an official arc, and then it just became an official arc and everyone believes that. I wouldn't be surprised, because this fandom tends to post non-canon facts as facts, so who knows. But if it is going to be in the trilogy, I would still be pretty sad about that, honestly. I do think that Sunrise Countdown is the one arc that really needs a lot of anime original content. It is the only part of the story where I felt actually quite rushed, but it is what it is. If they're not adding anime original content, they're not adding anime original content. I'm gonna love it no matter what. But 2 hours and 35 minutes would definitely be a good time frame if they are squeezing in the Infinity Castle and Sunrise Countdown arc into these 3 movies. For reference, Mugen Train was 12 chapters. It was a runtime of about 1 hour and 40 minutes with credits. So we're talking an extra almost hour of runtime for an extra 8-ish chapters then, because they would have to be adapting a little like 20 to 22 chapters per movie at this point. So that's not bad. That's honestly fine. That kind of makes sense, honestly, for runtime, and Mugen Train didn't feel rushed to me at all. So I am okay with that. That would also mean that Tanjiro and Gyu versus Akaza would be in this. This is the fight that I'm looking forward to the most. I am okay with that. I am okay with not having to wait a super long time to see that battle, because I want to see that battle. I obviously, like, it is my 2 favorite characters in the entire show battling together, so obviously I would be ready to see it. The other thing is that these movies are gonna be 2 years apart, or at least roughly 2 years apart for all we know. The 2027 date could be literally January, and then that's closer to 1.5 years. The thing that I think, based off of if these movies do in fact come out every other year, is I think that the halfway mark in between each one, they're going to do episodic releases of the movie like they did with Mugen Train, which would mean that Infinity Castle movie 1 would be getting an episodic release around this time next year. I would not mind that at all. That would be fun. That would be a great way to revisit it and be able to experience at least a little bit of week-to-week fun with Demon Slayer. And it would also give a lot of people the opportunity to watch it who maybe didn't get to go to theaters and see it, or if it's not on Crunchyroll yet, that sort of thing. So that would also be probably when there would be an OP. And I'm basing this fully off of just what they did with Mugen Train. Mugen Train did not have an opening when it came out as a movie. It just had the ending credits of Homura. And then when they released it episodically a year later, it got its own individual opening. I could very much see them doing with that, especially if there's going to be more than just 1 year in between each movie. So that would be my biggest prediction. based off of if this is true. And then the final thing I wanted to touch on was if movie 3 is in fact the final movie, the final thing within Demon Slayer, there's no more seasons, there's not another movie, having it end in 2029, it would make sense because the anime started in 2019, so that would be 10 years since the anime started, which is kind of insane when you think about it for a show this length to last 10 years when they've so far released something every single year. We have literally, unless you count that in America we got the movie like 6 months after it came out, the Mugen Train movie. They released something in 2019 with season 1, they released Mugen Train in 2020, they released Entertainment District in 2021, and that went until 2022. Swordsmith Village was released in 2023, and Hashira Training was released in 2024. Infinity Castle Movie 1 is released in 2025. We could see Infinity Castle Movie 1 episodic release in 2026. Infinity Castle Movie 2 coming out in 2027, an episodic release of Movie 2 in 2028, and then the third movie comes out in 2029. And then the episodic release in 2030, but then we don't have that 10 years, now we're in 11 years. I don't know, that's just my thought process on it. Do I think this leak is true? Sure, I guess. I don't know where they get this information, and they have been correct in the past, so there is reason to believe that what they're saying is true. I'm gonna go into this movie with the mindset of, I don't know, unless I get spoiled on it once the movie comes out here in a month in Japan, which more than likely I will know. There's not going to be any way to avoid that kind of information. People are going to be posting about what battles were in it, how long it is, that sort of thing, as soon as that hits theaters in Japan. My biggest hope is to at least not see any clips or pictures of the movie until I go and see it. I'm not betting on my chances of not seeing that, but you never know. So those are like the two major things that just happened, the trailer release and this leak that came out. I did ask if anyone had any questions, so how much do you think Ufotable will flex their budget on all these movies? I think they're going to flex it a lot. I think they've been saving money on their promotion and not making big trailers so that they can use more budget on this movie. They are already flexing it, in my opinion. The season finale of Hashira Training was one big flex to me, that they have big budget, they are gonna make this a spectacle, and I'm very excited to see what they're gonna do. Do you think the trailer will be longer than the sneak preview? Yes, I already touched on that. And what do you think of some people saying movie will be 2.5 hours? Where did y'all hear that? It honestly doesn't make sense to me. I'm thinking an hour and 40 minutes max. So again, we heard this from a leaker, a reputable leaker. Is it true? Who knows? I'm like 50-50 on it, honestly. I would be so down for the movies to be long. 100%. An hour and 40 minutes is too short. If it's an hour and 40 minutes, they better be planning on Sunrise Countdown having its own movie. If it is over an hour and 40 minutes, then I can see them squeezing everything into 3. So I kind of touched on all the questions everyone asked me outside of that. I did talk about people thinking that Sunrise Countdown will be included in the trilogy. I'm 50-50 on that. I originally was predicting that it wouldn't be because I just feel like no matter what way I looked at it, there was no way they were going to fit all 65 chapters into the 3 movies. If the runtime is 2.5 hours for each movie, all 3 movies run around there, then I can see them fitting it and I can see it working out without feeling incredibly rushed. The only thing is I would just be sad because I know that would mean there would be absolutely no opportunity for any anime original content in Sunrise Countdown, which is what I was more hoping for than anything else, but that's okay. So I think people being split 50-50 is still fine. There's the talk of, is Sunrise Countdown really an official arc? I can't really speak to that. Like I said, I was not in the fandom when that came out manga-wise, so I don't know if that was just a fandom push that looks official now, but everywhere that I found it looked official. So I was under the impression, since they were specifically calling this Infinity Castle, that it would be the Infinity Castle and Sunrise Countdown would get the other thing. Something too of note is that the tweet of the leak just says there's not another season. For all we know, they could do a 4th movie. Who knows? I'm just throwing out there some random ideas. Yeah, that's kind of it, I guess. I wanted to keep this video fairly short. I'm doing pretty good on that. I'm only running at about 18 minutes right now. So yeah, trailer will come out on the 28th. I will absolutely be posting a video, probably more in-depth, more lengthy, about like my final predictions on what this first movie is gonna be. I think I'll have a pretty good idea. and the leak. That's really what's going on. I am not going to talk about anything that I see on the internet after it hits theaters in Japan. I am going to try and keep myself away from as many of it as I can, just because I really do want to still feel at least a little bit surprised when I go see the movie. I would love to go into the movie theaters not knowing where it's gonna end, but I just don't know if that's realistic for me. But because I know a lot of people don't want to, I'm not gonna talk about it until I actually see it. And then of course there'll be like super lengthy videos about the movie once it comes out, which is so crazy that it's coming out. It's gonna be September before we know it, guys. But that's kind of my plan. There's still gonna be plenty of Demon Slayer stuff, don't worry. I'm just, once it hits theaters in July in Japan, I am not going to be reporting on anything that's being posted because I'm actually gonna be trying to stay away from it. So that is my plan. Those are my thoughts. This was really rambly and really yappy, but that's my style, so. But anyway, y'all, I will see you all in a couple weeks when we talk about the trailer and what information was released. I'll give you my honest thoughts about the information and the visuals and whatever else happens within that trailer. But for now, that is gonna be it for today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment your thoughts. Also, don't forget to follow me on my socials. I am at Hannah Malay on Instagram and TikTok, and at lookingnerdy on X. But with that, catch you all when this trailer comes out. Matane.